with Ushi. They need help with moving it. Oh. ಎಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರೈನರ್ಸ್ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಾಲಂಟಿಯರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Friend in there. Hello, Akash. Okay, முடியல ஓகே. எனக்கு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா பாட்டில்ஸ் தேவாங்க இருக்கா? சரி, சுத்தமாக எக்ஸ்ட்ரா இல்லையா? ஓகே ஓகே. கொஞ்சம் பக்கத்து நீ சரி ஓகே, நீ மேலே கூப்பிட்டு வந்துடு. கொஞ்சம் அப்டேட் போடுங்க குரூப்பில். சரி சரி. We have to check with ma'am.
Is it like only one person giving to both of them or two giving to
one judge to 3 groups?
Oh, not bad. Only giving mementos.
Maybe if you can support all 6, one person can just have this.
Mementos. The judges.
So far only 1
Group 6
4 இருக்காங்க.
3 4 6
Valedictory and inauguration. So he will call upon these people after their address to distribute.
Okay, so until then nobody has this.
Good evening and a warm welcome to each of you present here today. May I now request, through A.L. Somayaji, former Advocate General, and the convener of the forum, to kindly accompany Honorable Justice R. Subramaniam and Honorable Justice M.S. Ramesh onto the stage. I also invite Ms. N. Krishnaveni, our co-convener, and Shri Farhan Dubash, Advocate and Secretary of the Bombay Bar Association, onto the stage. Welcome onto the stage, sirs. Can I now ask Ms. Malavika Lakshmi to come onto the stage to render Tamil Thai Vaalthu.
நீராறும் கடலொடுத்த நிலமடந்து கிழொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமெனத் திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனருன் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறமியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
Thank you, Malavika. Yesterday at the function, which most of us have attended, His Lordship Justice K.V. Vishwanath, Judge Supreme Court, said it is of most importance that the institution is robust and inclusive. As a step towards it, His Lordship particularly stressed upon the importance of mentorship and guidance of the young advocates. We are happy to state that we, along with considerable help and guidance from the Bombay Bar Association, have already taken the step in the right direction by conducting the present program, the Advocacy Training Course. Here I must also place on record our immense appreciation and thanks to the fact that 4 of the mentors are from Malaysia. Thank you so much. To elaborate on the program as well as to welcome the guests, I invite Ms. N. Krishnaveni to come and address the guests.
Pleasant evening to all. Honorable Mr. Justice R. Subramaniam, Judge, Madras High Court. Honorable Mr. Justice M.S. Ramesh, Judge, Madras High Court. Mr. Somayaji, Senior Advocate and Senior Advocates Forum. Mr. Om Prakash, Secretary and Senior Advocate of Secretary of Tamilnadu Senior Advocates Forum. Namrata Shah, Advocate and Course Coordinator. Mr. Farhan Dubash, Secretary of Bombay Bar Association, other dignitaries, senior advocates and trainers from Bombay Bar Association and also from Malaysia, young advocates, good evening to all. Today, Advocacy Training Program conducted by Bombay Bar Association along with Tamil Nadu Senior Advocates Forum. This program is initiated by our Chief Justice when His Lordship was Puni Judge at Bombay High Court. He has witnessed this training program conducted by Bombay Bar Association. And when our convener and secretary met the Chief Justice, our Honorable Chief Justice apprised them about this program, about this advocacy training program to them, and why this should not be adopted here also. It was immediately accepted by our convener and the secretary and was put in effect also, and within a short period of 15 days to 20 days the program was organized, and all the trainers also immediately accepted our invitation and agreed to train the advocates, young advocates here. Initially applications was invited and more than 70 to 80 applications were received, but out of the 70 applications 40 were shortlisted and selections were made, and at last 36 were selected for this advocacy training program. This is mainly for the person advocates, but by that practice has gone, and immediately after enrollment they are all practicing on it independently without knowing what is trial and what is the advocacy to be in trial, adopted in trial, but none of them knows about it. But if you are a junior in an office, you will be following your seniors and go along with them with the trial and how he takes the evidence at the chief examination and also in cross examination, what are the questions to be asked, what are to be avoided, everything has to be known. Mainly the questions to be avoided has to be, the advocates has to be aware of it. But all these things they are not aware of nowadays. Nowadays straight away from the college, because with the college the advocacy is not taught, only the theory is only learnt. So this has become necessary. So the instigation of the Chief Justice, this training course has been made, and for 40 advocates have got trained today for the last 2 days. Maybe this is a short period and 2 days may not be enough for get trained for a trial, but definitely this will instigate the fire in them to know, to learn about the trial. In future, if they get any case and if they want to handle the trial of any case, they will definitely remember this training and what are all to be adopted, what are all to be seen in the plaint, in the written statement or in the petition or in the counter. What they will definitely remember all the teachings made by the trainers here. So this is definitely going to help them, even if not today, in a long course when they are going to practice in the trial stage, that will definitely going to help them. With these few words, I welcome Honorable Justice R. Subramaniam and Honorable Mr. Justice M.S. Ramesh for this valedictory function. I invite all the dignitaries present here, all the senior advocates and the young advocates for this program. Thank you.
I invite Thiru M.K. Kabir, senior advocate, to felicitate Honorable Justice R. Subramaniam. I invite Thiru Sengotavayalan, senior advocate, to honor Mr. Justice M.S. Ramesh. May I now call Ms. Namrata Shah, advocate and course coordinator, to propose a report on the program.
Thank you. Honorable judges, friends, firstly, congratulations on making it to the finish line. You finally don't have to hear from me and get my messages telling you to do this and that. About a month ago, when the notice for this thing, that the notice went out, we got a message from Mr. Om Prakash telling us that there were already 25 participants registered at 9:30 a.m. the same morning. The next day, he messaged saying the number had gone up to 60. And finally, at 75, they closed registrations and shortlisted 36 participants for this course. The reason for that will be clear when I explain what we've done over these last several days for the course. One of the main objectives of the course is to provide mentorship to students and to ensure that they have someone that they can go to with their questions. So we ran a briefing session. Normally, the briefing session would be done in small groups of 6 by the room trainers, who are the people who stay with the participants right from start to finish, who see their performance improve from day 1 till the very end. This time we did a briefing session together. You had to hear from me, unfortunately. But I hope that that was helpful. We work with the students to prepare them for the course. After the briefing session, we did a case analysis session, which was run by Mr. Sanjay Jain and Ms. Sneha Fene. The case analysis session is actually my favorite part of the course, because what we do is we work with the students to break down a set of facts and show them how you would approach a case to identify the relief you're going to seek, the legal points that the legal elements and the law that you need to fit your case within, the issues in dispute that would be decided by the court, and finally to work through the whole mass of facts to decide what is relevant, what you're going to need to show and bring out in your trial. After the case analysis session, we had these 2 days of intense hands-on training. And the reason why we need to limit the number of participants is because we teach this course by doing and by working with the students and by demonstrating to them one-on-one. They get the undivided attention of the trainers when they're in the room, and we don't tell them what to do. We use the words and the material that they give us, and we work with them to show them how and why they can do it better. They also then do a video review with the trainer where they sit one-on-one and go over a video of their performance to understand body language and also to just decompress and fully absorb the teaching point that they're given in the room. And finally, I just want to end by saying we don't teach you for the weekend. These tools are tools that you can use in any case, and I can attest to the fact that no matter how complex the case is, I have used it to break it down and to understand and to make life easier. These are things that your seniors do instinctively, but I'm sure that these tools will hold you in good stead in your practice. So all the very best, and it's been an absolute pleasure to learn with all of you.
To appreciate and acknowledge the fact that all the participants have reached the finish line and crossed the same, I invite Thiru Om Prakash to do the honors of the distribution of certificates.
The honors will be done by our honorable judges. I'm only just going to read out the names. As was informed to you, the participants were 36 in number. So we got them into 6 groups. So each group of 6 participants were identified, for whom there were 3 trainers and there was a leader among the trainers. So that group worked in unison. Now when we said that it was one group and trainers, it is not that they were fixed with the same trainers throughout. So these trainers got in rotation to all the other groups also. So therefore we have 6 groups. We have the participants here. I'll just read out the names in terms of the group so that you can come and receive your certificates of participation. Now group 1, may I request Honorable Justice R. Subramaniam to distribute the certificates for the participants in group 1. Sangavi Ravichandran. This is group 1. I'm sorry, Nishant. Lenin Madeswaran. Mr. Lenin Madeswaran. Sellapillai Kumar. Hariharan KB. G. Aravind. Siva Pandiyamani. Group 1 was mentored by group leader Aditya Mehta. Can I only request Mr. Aditya Mehta to just stand up for an acknowledgement? Any one of the persons who had mentored group 1. Now we move on to group 2, Bharati K. May I request R. Subramaniam to continue. Tarun Roshan. Pratana CN. Anusaya K. Karthi Tyagarajan. Natesh Kumar. The group 2 was mentored by group leader Alpana Gone. May I request Madam to acknowledge me. Now we move on to group 3, Risha Bar Jain. Sumana BD. Varsha N. Siddharth P. Ajay Arvindan. Priscilla Jayam. The group leader for group 3 was Mr. Nishant Sasidharan. We move on to group 4. May I request Justice M.S. Ramesh to continue with the honors for the students. Mr. Samraj David. Shivashankari Srinivasan. Paramaguru Raj. Arunachalesh V. Jayaharan Sundaralingam. Ritik VS. The group leader for Group 4 was Mr. Malcolm Singhanporia. We now move on to Group 5, Rasbin R. Gunashri MP. Suresh R. Ramakrishnan. Sai Krishnan. Anirudhan R. Lokeshwaran Arumugam. The group leader for Group 5, Mr. Shyam Kapadia. Group 6, Divya D. Srinivasan. Kausik K. Vignesh Kumar. Sweta D. Sakti Saravanan. The group leader for Group 6 was Mahek Bukwala. We had in fact waitlisted certain candidates if in case somebody couldn't turn up. In fact, that is what the mistake in Group 1. The first candidate had some health issues, could not join. One of the waitlisted candidates had stepped in. For all other waitlisted candidates, it had been only a waitlisting for the entire time. Thank you very much.
May I now request Honorable Justice M.S. Ramesh to come and render the valedictory address.
Good evening. Mr. L. Somayaji, the convener, Mr. Om Prakash, and the other members of the Senior Advocates Forum. Sorry, I forgot to mention R. Subramaniam, my esteemed brother, Justice R. Subramaniam. Mr. Farhan Dubash, Mr. Namrata, the team leaders, mentors, and other members from the Bombay Bar Association. Ms. N. Krishnaveni, the other members from the Senior Advocates Forum, the trainees. I was informed that the training session went so well that I really missed that I should have been here. I missed it. But I was briefed about how things went here and was very impressed. Actually, what requires to be done now is more important. You have been imparted with some training, and I'm sure that all of you have really involved yourselves very well and have understood it. But the best part comes is you require to implement it. Put it to use, whatever you have learned, you have been taught. Implementation is the next step. I am informed that some of you have some flights to catch. I'll be very brief. I just thought I'll share one small aspect which may help you out in your practice, the real life practice. Apart from this training, there is something which will also help you in your career. It is observance. What I would suggest is, you can just on any given day, when you have time, you can go to any good court or any court and observe the most successful and senior advocates, how they perform, how they conduct themselves in the court. These will teach you so many things which will help you grow up in your career. When you observe a senior advocate or a successful lawyer, one thing will be very conspicuous. They always speak only when they are spoken to or when they are called upon to clarify certain things. I and my brother will vouch for it. We quite often find that whenever a lawyer is well prepared and when the counter arguments are put forth, they're so anxious to clarify it then and there. Sometimes we frown upon that because it is like taking us for granted that we will not hear him or her, or that we will form an opinion. We always wait for the other side to clarify and whatever aspects they have put. So, the first and foremost thing which I would suggest, that when you are addressing a court, is that you speak when you're spoken to. I am told that the major portion of today's training was on the trial side. Well, that's one most important area where one should start their practice. If you are going to argue a case on the appellate side at later stage, and if we have some first-hand experience in trial, this is going to help you in a very long way. Rather than, apart from the lawyers who have not had trial experience and conducting an appeal, lawyers who had trial experiences would benefit more. I think today's training has really taught you as to how to conduct a trial, what to ask and what should not be asked. Most of the time when we handle appeals, we find that unnecessary questions have been put, which goes adverse to their own case. This is how most of the cases they lose when they put some unnecessary questions, more particularly in these criminal appeals. I'm also informed that this session is going to step forward, and the Senior Advocates Forum has thought about having their own members being trained, if I'm correct, trained, and if such a training happens and it's put to use, and these kind of training programs continue on a regular basis, at least within short intervals, it would help many of the lawyers here, and it would be something which the entire legal community would be proud of at the Tamilnadu Senior Advocates Forum. I thank this opportunity to be a part of this valedictory function. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the wonderful advice. My lords, I think it will be applicable to both the junior as well as the senior lawyers. May I now invite Honorable Justice R. Subramaniam to come and deliver the valedictory address.
My esteemed brother, Justice Ramesh, Mrs. Mary Lim, Justice Mary Lim, former judge of the Federal Court of Malaysia, the trainers from Malaysia, the trainers from Bombay, Mr. Somyaji, convener of the Senior Advocates Forum, Ms. Krishnaveni, co-convener, and other senior advocates who are here, and the trainers. Very good evening to all of you. The trainees, rather. Very good evening to all of you. You guys are fortunate. We never had such things happening when we were in law schools. First time I entered the Madras High Court was after my enrollment when I joined my senior's office. Before that, I had just seen the building from outside. Because I studied in the Pondicherry Law College, which is about 160 kilometers from here. Though the law college was near the district court campus, we never entered the district court campus as law students. And that was not thought of in those days when we were law students. And here you will find that the old law chambers are arranged in such a way that chambers and odd numbers are on one side and even numbers are on one side. My senior didn't come to court on the day one when I came here. He said, go to 33 law chambers. I took a bus from Mylapore, came here, got into the building. Then I looked up, I didn't know where 33 law chambers was. I was guided to the first floor. I went to the first floor, I found 32, 34, 36, 38, only even numbers on one side. Then I was blinking. Then one gentleman who crossed, he said, he saw me, he was sure that I am new. And he said, what do you want? I want to go to 33 law chambers. He said, go to the other side. I went, this clerk of my senior who has been working since 1963, that is my year of birth. He was 23 years service at that time. And he just said, coming late on the first day itself. It's not done. So this is how I came into the bar. But after that, yeah, it was a rosy picture, I must say. And I will tell you a few things which I as a lawyer, a junior, experienced. I was arguing a case, it came up for admission, a civil revision petition. I started arguing. The judge said, after about 5 minutes, the judge said, no sir, you don't have a case. I just sat down. A senior person was sitting next to me. He was Mr. Pepin Fernando, a trial lawyer who had shifted to Chennai. A trial lawyer from Tirunelveli who had shifted to Chennai. He just looked at the docket and asked me, are you so-and-so's junior? I said, yes. Then he told me, yes, you had a very good point, but the judge didn't understand it. But that is, and you sat down immediately after he said you don't have a case. That is not the way you should do a case. Please wait and see what I am going to do. So he made me sit there. As he stood up and started arguing, the judge said the same thing. What, Mr. Pepin, you don't have a case? Mr. Pepin didn't relent. He said, my lord, if your lordships are going to say that, where will I go? The judge relented. He said, what? Notice of motion. We had admissions and pre-admission notice was given. That is called a notice of motion. He said, a notice of motion will help me. The judge said, all right, notice of motion. He didn't stop there. He went one step further. An interim stay would help the other lawyer also. And all this was in Tamil. Because you guys are there from Bombay, I don't want to do. He said, an interim order would help another lawyer. He said, what, miss? It's all right, interim stay. The gentleman came out and told me, look, you had a better case than me. But I snatched an interim order also. That is advocacy. It is not just that you read the papers and you go and argue your case. You should read the judge also. That is most important. I found my senior was 60 when I joined the bar. He had almost completed 27 years of practice. And he used to leave by 12:30. He will ask the clerk. The question will be a leading question that no other case will reach. The clerk will not. He will go home. Then the rest of it is on me. So, one day after he left, I also left because I didn't have work in the court. I also left. I was taking my two-wheeler. I went ahead of him. He saw me overtaking him on the beach road. Then I went to the office in the evening. He said, did you go for your tennis today? Yes, sir. What time did you go? 4:30, sir. So when did you leave the court? Then I got it. Oh my God, I am wrong. I am caught. Then he said, no, you should not go home like this. I am 60, I have completed 27 years of practice, therefore I can have the privilege of going home early, but you can't do that. When you don't have work, go sit in the court, listen to the other lawyers arguing. Then you will know how to go about things. Then even then when I had no work, I didn't stay in the afternoons. I used to be here till 3:30 because I'll get delayed for my tennis if I go late. So I used to rush. And those days it was like if you make a mistake in court, the word will go to your senior immediately. And I must confess, I think I must be the one judge who had fought with all the judges as a lawyer. And I was like, I used to flare up just like that and take on the judges. But still I made it to the bench. That is thanks to God for that. Anyway, and Ramesh knows that, and he had told me that, Subbu, you shall not be like this, you should not be like this, you should not flare up at judges. Anyway, that was my temperament and my quality, and I followed it. I am only reminded of Sir Justice Lionel Leach, a former Chief Justice of this court. In his foreword to a book, which is a collection of articles by lecture series by K.V. Krishnaswamy Iyer, a doyen of the Madras Bar, rendered in the 1940s, to young lawyers who had enrolled by then on professional ethics and advocacy. That book is sadly out of print. Now I find this Asian Law House has published it along with the Advocates Act. That book is a must-have for all young lawyers. In his foreword, Justice Leach says, to be a successful lawyer, one requires three things at the initial stages. One is to have no money at all. Two, to have abundant appetite for hard work. And three, to be in love with the profession. If you have these three things, and he says, mind you, in 1940, when he wrote the foreword, he says that despite the profession being overcrowded, there is still room at the top. In 1940, he said the profession is overcrowded. In those days, when enrollments were far and few, with 7-8 guys getting enrolled in the Chief Justice's court hall. Today we get enrollments of thousands, 1,500, 1,600. I don't know what Justice Leach would have said if he had been alive today. And that is how the profession has evolved itself. And today these youngsters have chances of interning with judges, interning with senior lawyers. The law schools provide for such internship. And there are several moot court competitions. When I was in 3 years in law college between 1983 and 86, there was only one moot court competition, which was the Philip C. Joseph International Law Moot. That used to be held in our college. Only one moot. And now we find moots happening everywhere. And these children, there are dedicated professors handling these children or training these children for moot courts in these private law universities, many of the private law universities. And now I am told the director of legal studies, TAMILNADU, told me a few months back, she said, even government colleges have dedicated professors training the students for moots. That is a very good thing that's happening. And these moot courts are a real eye-openers for the students. But what happens is these guys who are regular mooters come to court and say, I pass it on to my co-counsel. That is not done. There is no co-counsel in the real court. So these things also, there are some side effects also of these trainings. But I'm sure that with this training going on, and I must thank the people from Justice Lim and the people from Malaysia as well as people from the Bombay Bar for taking up this initiative. And apart from training them in trials, I would also request the senior members of the bar to train them in court craft, to know what the judge wants. As Justice Ramesh said, you should not pop up. A good lawyer must know when to stop or when to keep quiet also. If you keep popping up, and that will be very counterproductive. And I used to shout at the lawyers who pop up. I tell them, wait for your turn. And when there used to be a joke my senior used to say, one lawyer, Chief Justice Rajmannar and the brother judge were hearing a matter on a bench when this lawyer popped up and said, "My lord is misleading, my lord is misleading." Chief Justice Rajmannar told him, wait for your turn. That means you are also entitled to mislead. That was a sense of humor the judges had also. And in those days, it was, number of cases were less. We had a lot of time to devote. I had myself argued appeals for 2 or 3 days together. And today it is not happening. And I myself, I am not able to sit and listen to an appeal for 2 or 3 days together. We say, yes, that's all right. We have read all that. Yes, come to the point. What is this? What do you say for this? And one more thing, gentlemen, for the youngsters, I'll finish with this. For the youngsters, how to draft a prayer. That is the most important thing. See, the decision, the facts, the clients will give you. But the final prayer is in your hands. And if the final prayer is not right, and if the foundation there is not right, you will not be able to succeed in the appellate courts also. I came across a case which was quite shocking. Almost after 30 years at the bar and 8 years on the bench, I found in a specific performance case, A has entered an agreement with B for purchasing the land. After the agreement, B sold it to C. A should have filed a suit for specific performance, simple, impleading C. That is the law settled by the Indian Supreme Court, even as in 1954 Supreme Court. But this lawyer files a suit for a declaration that the sale by B to C is invalid. That is all. He doesn't seek any further prayer. And this suit is dismissed after trial after about 6-7 years. And an appeal is filed. The appeal comes up before me after about 7-8 years. Then when the lawyer stood up, when I told him, what is this nonsense, what have you done? He said, yes, my lord, it's a mistake. Just 2 minutes was the appeal time. In just 2 minutes, he had to concede that it is a mistake. And you know what happened? By that time, his suit for specific performance had become time barred. And his suit for refund of advance money was also time barred. So the litigant got 0. After 13 years of litigation, it was because of the mistake done by the lawyer at the inception. So, maybe whether a person wins his case or not is his destiny. I had 2 judges, two cases before 2 different judges of the High Court on the same day. Both the cases I lost. And I was very upset because if the cases had come the other way, I would have won both the cases. Because I knew the view of the judges. Then I was very upset. I went and told my senior, look, what is this happening? Then he said, listen, to argue is your job. The result is not with you. It is that fellow's destiny that these cases came like this. If they had come the other way, you would have won both the cases. So it is that guy's destiny. But at the same time, you should do your duty. Ultimately, who succeeds is not decided by the lawyer. It is decided by the court. And so, but all that we should ensure as, you should ensure as lawyers is that the client doesn't lose because of your mistake. And yet another thing that we lawyers do, I was also doing the same thing as a lawyer, to be very frugal on payment of court fee, to design the relief so that we pay lesser court fee. This, in my 38 years of experience in this court, would always lead to a negative result. Don't try all the tricks. Make a straight prayer wherever it is possible. Make a straight prayer. And you are not going to, now it is 3% in Tamil Nadu. I don't know how much it is in Bombay. It is 3% in Tamil Nadu. You want to save on 3% or lose 100%? Or you want to spend that 3% and gain 100%? That is the decision. And that decision should always be the second option. So these are things which you should bear in mind when you, and moreover, when you get a new judge. My senior was, he will leave by 11:30 in ordinary days, but when a new judge comes, he will go sit in that court. I was wondering why this man is doing that. We don't have any case there. Why is he going and sitting there? Then I asked that clerk of mine. Guy said, he's watching the judge. They will observe the judge. They will see what the judge likes and what he doesn't like, how to put forth your argument, what to avoid before the judge. All these decisions they will take as the judge enters the court. So these are all things which you should learn. And this will come by practice. And practice, serious practice. I will only quote Joseph Story, a US constitutional expert, whose book on US Constitution was released in 1833. He said, law is a jealous mistress, requiring constant courtship. She can't be won by trifling favors, but by lavish homage. So, gentlemen, you know what it means. You must put your heart and soul in the profession, and all of you will succeed. As we say, there are 3 stages in the profession. The first one, you will have more work, less money. The second one, equal work, equal pay. The third one, less work and more pay. I wish all of you reach the stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lordships, for the entertaining, at the same time, a very evocative speech. Now may I request Thiru A.L. Somayaji, convener of the forum, to address the gathering.
Good evening to all of you. Sorry, I'm not supposed to, in the schedule I'm not there, but I'm inspired by what Subramaniam and Justice M.S. Ramesh said. I just want to quote one instance which happened here in my case. I think about a decade ago, at that time I was Additional Advocate General. I had an office on the 2nd floor. Justice Mr. Siddharth Shankar Ray, he came here for arguing a matter relating to BCCI. I was also appearing along with him for the president of BCCI. The case was listed before Justice Ibrahim Khalifullah. It was 120 or so in the list, cost list. So I requested Mr. Ray to come and sit in my office, because by then he was old enough. So I told him, you sit in my office, we will call you as and when the case reaches. He came and sat. I don't know, after an hour he said, no, I want to go to court. I said, no sir, I have to go in there. But he insisted and he came to the court. Justice Khalifullah saw him and asked him a question, what's your item, Mr. Ray? He said 110. He said, it won't reach. It will reach, if you want to have it on some other day, I will give you the date. But Mr. Ray replied, which I want to tell the youngsters, I mean, which reflects the views of Justice Subramaniam and M.S. Ramesh. He said, all right, Millard, if it's not going to reach, I will take a date. But I want to tell you small incident. He said, all right, what is that you tell me? He said, way back in when he was enrolled in the Calcutta High Court, the procedure was that he will be enrolled before the Chief Justice of the Calcutta High Court. He said, I was enrolled. He mentioned the name of an English judge, which I don't recollect on account of my age. He said that judge, that used to be an enrollment in the first court. Afterwards, he will say a few words to the young lawyer who was enrolled on that day. That particular judge, I am reminded of what he said. That is what he told Justice Khalifullah. He said, you must know the judge. That is what you mentioned. He said, knowing the judge means doesn't know that you have to go to his house and know him. Learn the mind of the judge. That's why I'm sitting here, he said, first sentence. Then he said, the Chief Justice who enrolled us told us also two more things which I want to tell you. That is what he said. He said, you need not know all the law to succeed in a case. If you are able to lay your hand on the right proposition at the right time, as and when the judge asks you, you can succeed. So that is the lesson which all of us have to learn, and which impressed me very much. Knowing the judge is of utmost importance. What he likes and what he doesn't like, everybody should know. And I am sure the youngsters, 35 in number, who are trained by the Bombay lawyers, are going to be immensely benefited by this. The lessons which have been taught to you today, it will take at least me to learn when I was enrolled in early 70s. I'm grateful to, sorry I intervened, Dubash. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the impromptu address and the wonderful advice. May I now request Shri Farhan Dubash to come and render the concluding address.
Justice Ramesh, Justice Subramaniam, dignitaries on the stage and off the stage, seniors, trainers, my fellow participants. It's been a long day, and at the fag end, I promise I won't take up much of your time. But it's my honor and distinction to stand before you today and deliver the concluding remarks for this inaugural advocacy training course hosted at the Madras High Court under the aegis of the Bombay Bar Association. Over the past 2 days, we've had an enriching experience, gained invaluable insights, and refined our advocacy skills under the guidance of trainers. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to the conveners and co-conveners from the Tamilnadu Senior Advocates Forum, under whose leadership and dedication this program has become a reality. A heartfelt thanks to Mr. Somayaji, Mr. Parthasarthi, Ms. Krishnavini, Mr. Ajmal Khan, and Mr. Om Prakash for their unwavering support, vision, and tireless efforts in organizing this training. Your commitment to nurturing the next generation of advocates is truly commendable, and we are all deeply grateful for the opportunity that you've provided. Now that the Madras High Court has experienced this advocacy training firsthand, the next step would be for your Bar Association or the High Court to coordinate with the International Advocacy Training Council and get some of your more experienced advocates trained and qualified to become trainers, just like what the Bombay Bar Association had done a few years ago, and develop its own faculty of trainers that can continue training the juniors of this High Court for the years to come. Be rest assured that the BBA would be with you at every step of the way if you require any assistance from our side. I would also extend my sincere appreciation to the Malaysian ATC and our 4 esteemed trainers from Malaysia, Judge Mary, Ghana, Lavinia, and Huimin, who've so readily taken the time from their busy schedule to travel all the way from Kuala Lumpur and share their knowledge and expertise with us. I'd also like to thank my fellow trainers who have taken this weekend off from their otherwise busy schedule in Bombay and come to Chennai and train. Additionally, no event of this magnitude would run smoothly without the tireless efforts of those working behind the scenes. I would like to take a moment to sincerely appreciate and thank some of the junior advocates who have relentlessly volunteered their time and effort over the weekend, ensuring that all our needs were met and guided us from court hall to court hall with patience and dedication. A special round of applause to Ravikaran, Monisha, Ritika, Gunasri, Vidushi, Nishant, Vikrant, Vignesh, Varsha, Akash, Nishant, Sachinatham, and Lenin. Your selfless service, enthusiasm, and hard work have not gone unnoticed. As we conclude this training, let us carry forward the knowledge, skills, and camaraderie that we have built here. This is not just an end, but a new beginning for all of us to continue striving for excellence in advocacy. As Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest lawyer advocates in history, once said, "He who represents himself has a fool for a client." Thankfully, after this training, none of us ever will be that full. Before I wrap up, I must say that with all that we've learned or we've experienced over the last 2 days, on the way to the airport, I would try and visit the Bergamo Mall, but whilst there, I will be very careful to see if I spot a Honda City or a Toyota Yaris, and otherwise I might have to transform myself into Karthik Muralidharan or Mr. Sebastian to argue my way out. Once again, thank you very much, and we look forward to many more enriching experiences like this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dubash. Can I request everybody to stand up for the national anthem?
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे